There's some really bad news because Stupa and Lebron won't be playing this week. And it's not just any week, it's the first of the four biggest Premier Padel tournaments, the Qatar Major. And to make things worse, they're also being forced to split up for the Brussels tournament where Lebron already has a new partner. So what really happened and what's gonna go down in Doha? Hello everyone, I'm Pablo and I welcome you to a new 4Set. One of the biggest four tournaments of the year has just kicked off, the first major of the season, Qatar. The best players in the world are competing this week for the biggest prize money of the year, over 500,000 euros. And they're also playing for the highest points available at a single tournament, 2,000. But two players who won't be competing in Doha are Stupa and Lebron. And that is a huge blow because they've been one of the hottest teams on tour. Remember that they won in Cancun and reached the finals in Riyadh, Miami and Chile. Considering they are a brand new pair and managed to beat Cuello and Tapia along the way, that is pretty impressive. Actually, they are currently number one in the race, though they will lose that spot after Doha. But wait, Pablo, are Stupa and Lebron splitting up? Well, that is what people started saying on Thursday afternoon when their registration for Brussels suddenly disappeared. Some said they were pulling out of Brussels to give back the Cancun points to the former partners, but then something unexpected happened. Lebron appeared registered with Alex Ruiz. Was it real? Was Lebron seriously leaving Stupa to play with Alex Ruiz? Well, yes and no. Turns out Stupa is injured and won't be able to play in either Doha or Brussels. Actually, he explained it like this on his Instagram. I always like to share good news with you, but unfortunately not this time. I had some medical tests done and the diagnosis confirmed an injury that forced me to stop and focus on recovery. I'm really sad that I won't be able to compete in the upcoming tournaments in Qatar and Brussels. I will be cheering on Elofo and Alex like just another fan in Brussels. Well, that shows how serious the injury must be if he's not even trying to play in a major like Doha. And in fact, Pochoni, their coach, explained it in more detail on Radio Marca with El Negro.
Al final el deportista quiere competir, haces una pretemporada, te preparás. Franco este año sacrificó el ir a Argentina y se quedó en España. No hay deportista que no esté lesionado. Y con dolores. Somos de no decir nada cuando estamos mal, ¿eh? No nos gusta la excusa, ni la queja, ni nada. El año pasado Franco pasó el dengue, tuvo una infección pulmonar, donde solo le funcionaban los pulmones al 30%, y nunca salimos a decirlo, porque cuando uno entra a competir, y si no, quédate en casa. Ya está. Es fácil.
With Stupa out, Lebron had to find a temporary partner for Brussels. Because yes, Lebron and Alex Ruiz will only play in Brussels. So, Stupa and Lebron are planning to be back, God willing, for the Paraguay tournament in May. It is true that Lebron couldn't register with someone else for Doha because they missed the deadline, so a lucky loser from qualis will enter the main draw instead. But Lebron, just like Stupa, has been playing at an incredible level lately, even daring to play with what look like a frying pan.
Esto es buenísimo, ¿qué? ¿Eh? ¿Esto qué? Con el canto de la sartén. No lo he visto nunca, ¿eh? ¿Esto qué?
To show you how good they've been, in 2025, Stupa has already matched the number of finals he reached in all 2024, 4, and Lebron has actually surpassed that. But there's another unexpected victim in all this, Alex Chozas. He was Alex Ruiz's partner until now, but because of Stupa's injury, he's been sidelined. In Brussels, Chozas will play with Facu Dominguez and we will see what happens afterward, because I assume Chozas Alex Ruiz is done and they will each find new partners. But the good news about all this, where we are gonna get to see all the top players in the world in Brussels, which is a P2 tournament. And this week in Doha, the players, FIP and Premier Padel will hold an important meeting to try and fix the whole situation because not playing in Gijón and Cancun didn't really go as planned. But it did work out for teams like Tolito and Gonzalo Alfonso, though, who went from qualifying rounds to world number 15 in just 3 tournaments. In the Brussels draw, we've already got some interesting new pairs like Tello, Nenno and Garrido, Libaak. So, would you guys like a full breakdown of all these new duos? Let me know in the comments. But now it's time to focus on Doha, the first major of the season. And that means the players return to the Khalifa complex, one of the most iconic stadiums in padel, where Spain won the 2021 World Championship and Argentina took the 2024 title. And of course, we have previous major winners here: Paquito Dineno in 2022, Stupa Dineno in 2023 and Coello Tapia last year. This stadium also hosts the ATP 500 points tennis tournament. And to compare the prize money, the ATP winner takes home $500,000, while the Premier Padel winner gets 10 times less. It is true that little by little Padel is closing that gap, and little by little Tapia has been recovering from his injury too. He's been in Catamarca with his family, where Bella joked that they all look exactly the same. And knowing Agus, those days at home probably helped. Maybe not his hand, but definitely his soul, and sometimes that matters more. So Tapia will have had 19 full days between losing in Chile and playing again in Doha. Hopefully that's enough time for his right hand to fully recover, because last year he and Arturo set a high bar, winning 3 out of 4 majors. So they're defending the title and 2000 ranking points in Doha. And watch out, because Chingalan has already cut down their lead by 3,190 points this season. So in fact, Chingoto and Galan are coming into Doha as the hottest team after winning in both Miami and Chile. So they're the favorites to win in Qatar, even though they didn't play together here last year. And probably not many people remember, but last year Chingoto was with Momo, Garrido with Yanguas, Stupa with Nenno, Paquito with Sanjo and Galan with Lebron. So it is true that time really flies, because it's only been a year. But another top contender for the title are Koki and Yanguas. Actually, they've been the most consistent team so far: 3 tournaments, 3 semifinals. They were super close to beating Chingalan in Miami and making their first final, but they're still chasing that breakthrough. Doha shouldn't have any rain issues, but it might get tricky with the heat, highs of 33 Celsius degrees. So the course will be really fast during the hottest hours and slower and more humid at night. But now we've got the full draw, and look out, because Coello and Tapia could be out of revenge. In the round of 16 we could get 2 amazing matchups: John and Momo versus Tello Libaak, and the one I'm most hyped for, Carburger versus Tolito Gonzalfonso. If Cardona and Asburger win that match, they will face Coello and Tapia in a Chile rematch. Then the winner would likely face Koki and Yanguas in the semis, so yeah, the top half of the draw is stacked. Because on the other side, things are looking easier for Chingalan, who could meet the winner of Paquito Bergamini versus Garrido Dineno in the semis. And if I had to bet, I'm gonna do it, because I'm gonna predict the future and tell you the winners of the Qatar Major. Obviously, I'm putting Chingoto and Galan in the final, no doubt here, because of the level they're bringing and their draw. But it is true that I do have some doubts about Tapia's hand, and if they face Cardona and Ausburger in a fast court, anything could happen again. But since this is a major, I think the number ones are gonna prove it and make it to the final, beating Koki and Yanguas in a 3-set semifinal. So who do you think would win the first classic of the year between Coello Tapia or Chingalan? In my opinion, those will be Coello and Tapia, but throw your pick in the comments. So this is all from my side. I hope to see many of you in Qatar, in Doha, and thank you so much for watching the video. See you in the next one. Ciao.